So thank you to everybody who's joining us tonight. Just a quick introduction of myself and Tom, so you know whose voices you're hearing. My name is Gail Bodge. You've seen my name on all the emails coming through. I work at Gulf Maine Research Institute. I've been here for 8 years. If you've seen our Lab Venture program, you may have met me through there. I've migrated my way upstairs, and I'm now working on the PowerHouse program with Tom, and spent the spring working with a fabulous crew of teachers, developing and testing and reiterating, and we are feeling ready for a beta-ish launch with you guys today.
Great, and in the spirit of quick introductions, I'm Tom. I also work here at the Gulf of Maine Research Institute. Been here for quite a long time as well. Work on many of these projects. I focus a lot on the technology piece, and I get out whenever I can. So I used to be a teacher in Brunswick at the junior high school, and I also taught in Yarmouth at the high school doing technology stuff and out in Washington State before I defected to JMRI. So
we're glad you defected.
Thanks.
So if each of you could, some of you know each other, some of you don't, just type in a quick introduction in the chat box, and speak up if you can't find the chat box. It's in your GoToMeeting control panel, down on the lower end of it, right underneath where it says webcam, it says chat. You can expand that box and type a message in there and hit send.
And Gail, I'm not connected to a computer, only phone, because my computer's at work and I'm not able to get there.
Okay, no problem. Peter, you could introduce yourself just over the phone if you'd like.
Sure. I'm Peter Zach, and for the past 20 years, I've been working with the Maine Energy Education Program, a nonprofit, and Stephanie Gregoire and I make up the team at this point, and we go into schools pretty much all over the state to do hands-on energy education, and we're connected this year to PowerHouse through homeschoolers.
Okay, great. Thanks, Peter.
Gail, it's Ruth. I can't find the chat.
Okay, great. Do you see your GoToMeeting control panel?
Yep.
Okay. And go all the way down to the bottom of the control panel, and you can see there's these blue bars that go across. One says audio, webcam, chat.
Hold on a minute. I don't have a control panel. I have a toolbar.
It might be hiding behind a window.
It's hiding behind a window. Okay. I was on the other end before, so I didn't have to. Oh, there it is. Okay. Now I got it.
And we encourage you guys to use this chat box while we're chit-chatting on our end about PowerHouse. If you have any questions, you can type them in there if you want to share any tidbits. But feel free to chat and go on tangents. They're welcome to in that chat box. Or you can feel free to interrupt too over the phone. It's always tricky when you can't see faces, but go for it.
And definitely feel free to use your voice. Unmute yourself and jump in. Please, please, please.
Okay, great. Well, we're really excited to have all of you guys join us today. We're just going to do a quick overview of what our goals are. So big, high-level program goals for PowerHouse is, one, we want to deepen math and science learning for students in Maine. And number two is to, through the PowerHouse experiences, reduce home electricity consumption by families in Maine. We're hoping for 5% reduction, and we will test and see what we get with that.
So those are our big goals for PowerHouse Forever. And our goals a little bit more immediately. For this month, the big goal, if you get nothing out of this experience today, we're hoping that after a brief introduction to what PowerHouse is, that you have a chance to think about signing up as many of your students as possible for a bunch of different reasons. But the main thing is that this is when, as teachers, we connect with our families. This is when we send permission slips home. And this is when we have chances to interact with families and give them a helping push or shove if necessary during open houses, that kind of stuff. So goal this month, sign kids up.
Yeah, and it's also a chance to start collecting data. Even if you don't do PowerHouse until the spring, if you start collecting data today, you'll have lots more to play with later on. But before we get going, we wanted to know what questions that you guys have coming into the evening. That way we're sure to address them before we sign off. So if you could type any questions that you have in that chat box, that would be great. That way we can keep coming back to refer to them.
So Kara, I guess you'll have to have another open house.
All right, so you guys can chat, put your questions in there. We'll monitor the chat box, make sure that we don't see anything. And good to know that you just want to know what to ask questions about too, so thank you. Okay, so changes, great. Family Energy Nights, we've got some info about that.
Should we talk about Family Energy Nights tonight, just for people who don't know about them?
Yeah, it's in the, we'll get to it.
Right,
in our nifty quick super overview agenda. We're just going to run through quickly what is PowerHouse and have a website overview highlighting some new features. For those of you who participated in the spring, we did some edits this summer, and it's all new, of course, if you're new to PowerHouse too. We'll go through a high level of creating accounts. I think most of you, if not all of you, already have teacher accounts. So we'll go through some of what you can do once you have your account, and then connecting families and students to their data. I will pull in some Family Energy Night resources there, and have some new ideas around how we'll be supporting you guys with PowerHouse throughout the year, and a new teacher community that will have you join tonight as well. Cool. So quick, what is PowerHouse? Staying super high level, those are our two big goals for PowerHouse, but I think it's really illustrated best through some stories from folks who participated in the spring. So I'm just going to share one quick story with you guys. I'll pull that up and give you a chance to read the story from Hercules at Mount Ararat. Okay, so just to sum that up, PowerHouse itself is not a curriculum project. PowerHouse is a tool for you to be able to use in lots of different ways. I've got one more thing I wanted to show you guys here. And PowerHouse can really be related to lots of different concepts and content and practices. You can use it in math and in science, and it's a tool to enhance maybe some of the experiences that you're already doing or plan to do by bringing personal, relevant data to students and making some of these really big, out there, global concepts such as climate change really personal and making it meaningful to students. That way they can have impacts and actions at home. Okay, walk right over to the PowerHouse website, and just a quick overview of what we've got going on at the PowerHouse website. Once you sign in, you'll land on the grid. Oh, I have to change my data settings here. Just one sec. You want in the back end for a minute. Tom will show you that later.
Of the website.
Of the website. Back end, thanks. So when you log in, you'll have a home profile. This could be your home, it could be a mystery home, and we're really hoping that it's your students' homes once they log in. And students can enter in information about who lives in this home, what's unique about this home. And right on this page, you're able to see how much electricity your home is using in comparison to other households that are similar to yours.
So this has actually changed from last year, Ginny and Ruth. You wouldn't know this, but one of the things that we're still considering the site very much a prototype. So we would like to take your learnings, again, from this fall, and continue to apply them and deepen the site. So this is very much a schematic. And one of the things we heard was that there was too much stuff in one place, and so we needed to break it out. So this is one of the things that we changed. So
great, thanks, Tom. Yeah. So one of the things we broke out was looking at our savings. We've created a graph that you're able to set a goal with once you've connected your home to Energy Manager, which will go, or to PowerHouse, we'll go over in a bit. You can set a goal, a savings goal for your family and your household, and you're able to see how your family is doing against that goal in comparison to this month last year. So you can see in this house, they had a goal set of 5%. They're using a little bit more than 5%, less of what they did last year. That was a confusing sentence.
Yeah, actually, no. You are using the same amount this month, it says.
Oh, yes, you're using the same amount this month.
So whoever this mystery user is using the same amount, but their 5% goal, they're
not reaching.
Not meeting it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also added to this, if you wanted to look at some historical data, you can pull that up. And you can go all the way back to when you first started collecting data through your CMP account. So that's how far back the historical data goes, just to emphasize that's why we're having this webinar right now, just to start the data collection process with your students so that you do have data to play with.
For the record, Gail?
Yeah.
And for those who have done this last year, I'm noticing that my 2012 bars filled up. And we just heard that CMP, and Gail, you may not have known this, is going to add 13 months of data to anyone automatically, back data, in the past, for when anyone signs up with Energy Manager, which we'll talk more about.
Cool.
And it looks like they may have already done it, because there shouldn't be anything for 2012 for me.
Yeah, there should be. This is historical data.
Oh, okay.
It's always there.
Never mind.
Okay. It'll go as far back as, right now, as far back as when you start collecting data. And as Tom said, we have heard it still go 13 months back further, but not quite yet. Cool. We'll let you know how to hook up with CMP and that data in just a little bit. We just want to give you a quick overview of what you get once you've hooked up your data. So what your data looks like, the raw data, if you click on the electricity use data tab, you'll see bar graphs showing you how much electricity in kilowatt hours that you've used this week in your home. There is a 48-hour, oh, not even on this one, just a 24-hour lag. So we've seen anywhere from 48 hours to 24 hours in a delay in data that's showing up. It's never, well, not never, hopefully sometime down the road it will be live or our real-time data, but right now there is a 24 to 48-hour lag.
So, and Ginny asked a really good question in the chat. Do students have to enter their house data? How do you hook up with CMP? All that kind of stuff. Right now, we are only working with CMP. So do tell your friends and neighbors who are also teaching in the CMP area that they can do this as well. If you're in the Bangor Hydro area or know anyone who's teaching in the Bangor Hydro area, we hope to bring them on board at some point, or probably not for a year or so. But that's coming. So right now it's just CMP.
Cool. And same part too about the data, if you click right onto the bars, you can get even more granularity down to the hour. So you're able to see what you've done or how many kilowatt hours you've used in your house to the hour, which is really exciting. It can really reflect household behavior around electricity use and what you've been doing in your home. The different views you also have, just to scroll around here, you can look at a month, at a year. It's thinking. I'm moving too quickly for the graph.
We should say that you should expect changes over the fall and spring as well.
Yeah.
So additions.
We're scheming up some stuff. It's kind of exciting. All right. And you can also navigate from previous to next of whatever view you're in. So right now, previous to next year, if we had more than 2 years with these buttons. Go down to the week again. And the new feature that we've added since the spring, oh man, was this date picker. Here, let me scroll in this way. Oh.
Nice.
If you ever see flat lines, it just means that your smart meter wasn't sending hourly data
in a consistent way.
Yeah.
CMP just averaged for the day
they just took an average of your total usage and spread it out over the graph. So it doesn't mean anything's broken, just something happened that day that was a little funky, or if there was a major power outage that took place over a long time. All right, so new feature is you can jump to any day, which is really useful since your students may be doing investigations on weekends over a period of time. It's just a really slick way to be navigating throughout, so that way you can compare data. So you can click on anything throughout the calendar, change the month you're looking at and the year you're looking at to look at different views. And here too, you can also compare how you did against similar households, down to from the yearly to the hourly views. And two more things that you can do within these graphs is you can add a note. As you notice, as I'm scrolling over each of these graphs, it's giving you the exact kilowatt hours that has been used by each of the bars, but underneath there's also a highlighted thing where you can click to add a note. So as you can see, that one wasn't a super useful note, but what we're curious about is if and how this feature could be useful to you and your students to enhance your experiences with PowerHouse. And if you have ideas or suggestions for us on making this note feature way cooler than it is, we would love to hear them. I don't think it was used much in the spring, so we're really curious how to enhance this to make it more meaningful for you and your students. So all ideas and suggestions are welcome. Just send them through our way.
So just two things on that. One, we've been talking about putting a kind of Facebook-like wall that only the student who owns the account could see, so they could put real-time notes. Because one of the problems with this note-taking system right now is you can only click on bars and add notes to bars, and your data is a day, maybe 2 days old on your graph, so you can't add a note today. You have to wait 2 days. So, and a couple other things you might notice here. Or not notice, Kelly, you and others had an idea of locking down the scale bar. We have not done that yet, but it is absolutely in the plan. We hope to do that. So you'll notice if Gail jumps between, say, this month and the next month, or this day and the next day, the scale bar on the left, which currently reads 0 to 4, still reads 0 to 4. Keep going.
Or on weekdays, there won't be much of a jump.
That's right. Oh, well. Anyways.
There we go.
So, and of course, our students read absolutely. They don't read relatively. So, for those of us who are math teachers, what's in the upper right there? Is that different from last year?
Yeah, export data.
Oh, I was thinking even further right, but both of those are good.
All right. Oh, yeah. Even further right. So what Tom's looking at is right underneath his details for the house. So it's going to give you an average of the kilowatt hours used for whatever view you're in. So right now, we're looking at day view. It gives you the total for the day, but it's giving you an average for 0.3 kilowatt hours per average, and that changes based off of what view you're looking at. Oops. Let me get to.
That's perfect, actually.
Okay. Oh yeah, that was August. That's what I meant to do.
A quick way to grab numbers without having to add up bar by bar, which was a little tedious last year. So.
Yeah. Another new feature on this too is the export data button. So if you click that, you can put the data from the view that you're currently looking in. It'll go right into an Excel sheet. I think you can select numbers or whatever other program that you'd like to use, and it gives all the data, the raw data right there. So if you want to create different types of graphs with your students, you can use that. Cool.
Can we stop here for a second? I am very curious. To everybody out there who has a microphone muted, any questions? What are you thinking about?
Yeah, I muted my mic because I was eating dinner, and the timer was going off. But anyways, I think this is pretty amazing. This is Ginny. I think this is. I'm seeing a lot of possibilities for this, in the data, analyzing data, and having kids start ask questions of the data. There's a lot of stuff you could do with this data.
Great.
Nice. And Ginny, I'm not sure if you asked the question. Actually, it might have been about family accounts. I think Ruth, that was you. Students and parents would share the same account. and that's very intentional, and we'll get to that in just a minute.
Yeah. That has to do with part of the login process. So as you notice too, when you're logged in here, as you'll see there's some downloads for parents. So that's where you'll find your permission forms, that snazzy new connecting your data with CMP and PowerHouse information form. If your parents want to see the privacy policy, you can download that there, but they will also see it when they log in.
Can I hold there for a second? Because
yeah.
this is a critical point. So if you're a teacher, if you're logged in as a teacher, the permission form and the connecting the CMP and PowerHouse, I think sending those home with your students on the first day of school is something that we discussed last year among the 26 teachers participating was a good idea. That was one of our takeaways. So please consider downloading those and including those if you think you might do PowerHouse this year.
Great. And also too, we suggest that you share with your principal or admin that you're doing this program. Some parents may have questions about why is my teacher asking me to share my personal home data with them, and what are they up to? We have a letter here, administrator letter, that introduces the program and also connects them with GMRI, with me, if they have any questions, and we will be as helpful as we possibly can be to make sure that you have support from your admin at school for the program. Two new things right here underneath the teacher support. You can see there's engage your students with PowerHouse challenges. We've updated these since last year, and we're really pushing the idea of a challenge because it's action-oriented, it sounds fun and snappy, and it really makes you want to do something. But we're also embedding them with the skills and processes used to do scientific investigation. So, for example, we'll look at a phantom loads challenge, where students are asked, how can we decrease phantom loads of electricity used when nobody is at home? So first they need to observe possible sources of electricity at home, give them some tips for identifying what those are, ask students to make a prediction about how they think they can reduce those loads, and then to investigate. So make a plan, take an action with your family if possible, and try to reduce, looking back at your PowerHouse usage graph to identify if there have been any savings, and then to report out. And at the bottom of this, you might notice a really exciting new feature that we have this year too, where you can actually add comments to the bottom of these challenges. This is where we're encouraging students, or asking you to encourage students to report out the actions that they've taken at home, share their savings, share how they did it, and make recommendations to the PowerHouse community here. They're text-only commenting as of right now, and we're playing with different ways to make these challenges more dynamic, where students are able to share their learning with each other and to help encourage each other along the way. Okay. So right now we have 3 challenges, one around phantom loads, one around lighting, and one around identifying kind of your big power users in your household. But if you have a challenge that you'd like to do that doesn't relate to these, we'd love to hear it, and we could post that on this website so you could use the commenting feature, and maybe another school would pick it up too, so you could have some collaborations happening there across the state.
So this would be a good time. Ruth's asking great questions about extension activities. And Peter, would you give us a brief, 1 minute or so overview of MEEP and what you guys are doing?
Sure, Tom. What our program can offer, if a teacher is interested, is we can come in to give some background to what PowerHouse will be focusing on. That is, we can talk a bit about electricity generation, and we can do some hands-on activities around that. We can also teach kids how to use different tools to investigate appliances, like a kilowatt meter, for example. We also can do a session on climate change to give them a little bit of background on that. And again, that would be done probably with some hands-on work with some chemistry, looking at CO2 impacts and in the atmosphere and also in the ocean. So those are all things we can do, and would be glad to offer those.
That's great. Thank you, Peter. And a reminder as well that every school library has 2 kilowatt meters to specifically measure device electricity use. It'll work for your dryer, but it'll work for just about everything else. In fact, every town library, every library in the state has 2 of those. And Peter's group, Maine Energy Education Program, has a bunch. They can come into schools and do a bunch of activities.
And we will loan those, Tom, also for periods of time.
That's great.
So if a class needed a bunch of them, we've been known to loan 10 or 12 at one time for a period.
That's awesome.
Wonderful. There's at some point here another thing on our bucket list is, so right now when you create an account, you have a private profile no one else can see. As part of that private profile, we hope to add what devices and appliances you have in your own house. So there was a kind of precursor activity that we talked about creating last year, and frankly, a lot of teachers who participated in did. So you do a home energy inventory, literally how many of what kinds of light bulbs, all your appliances, everything. And then try to figure out how much each of those things uses, and then, eventually how much does it use, how much are you using it during the day, during the year, what is its real cost, that kind of thing. So again, a lot of that stuff is embedded inside of the ideas, like these curriculum ideas that Gail mentioned. So.
Cool. And Peter, I just typed in a comment. Apologies, I keep forgetting you can't see what we're showing.
Oh, that's okay.
And I remember you couldn't see my comment either. So.
Oh.
But I'll share the recorded link. So once you're back in the office, if you want to watch it, then you'll have it available there. So I hope this is making sense for you.
So, Peter, one person, Sarah Carlson's asked, what's the best way to get in touch with MEEP?
I think probably going to our website, because there should be information on how to get in touch with either myself or with Steph Gregoire. And our website is www.meepnews.org, and MEEP is MEEP for Maine Energy Education Program, news, NEWS.org, and that should link folks to us.
That's great. So someone also mentioned the Power Sleuth program that MMSA developed, and specifically Lynn Farron, and this would be a good time to mention that Lynn is very much part of the team, and she could not make it tonight, and she sends her regards. And so do expect to see and hear Lynn moving forward. I mentioned before that our goal for this month is to get as many people as possible signed up. We're imagining at this point something like every month having some kind of a meetup for those people who are interested. And that could be a webinar like this, or it could be in person. And depending on who's participating, it could be in person in Bangor, it could be in person in Portland. So we'll kind of follow your lead as time goes on.
Actually, I'm going to pass my presenter abilities over to Tom, who's going to go through kind of now that you see what we have on the website, and how to connect.
I was going to say, Ruth, you did miss a little bit, but again, we're in prototyping phase, and you'll have plenty of chances to experiment. Don't worry. And while we're here, what I'm going to do, or what I was thinking of doing next, was to show you all very quickly, and for all but Ginny and Ruth, I think you'll know how to do this, but how to create an account. And it's going to look very familiar to most of you. So just kind of curious where we're at. It's a little after 7. Is this a good direction, or would you like to talk about other stuff? You can type that in the chat window, or love to hear your voice.
I think it's a great direction for me. It's Ruth.
Okay.
Okay. Especially the CMP Energy Manager bit.
All right.
Oh, hi, Libby. I see you just joined us.
I did. Our open house went late.
Oh, you had an open
busy
house.
Day.
Crazy.
Okay, well, one of the first things I wanted to do is to show you this first thing, download instructions. The biggest thing I think to take away from tonight is the process. Anyone who was with Lynn Farron and Gail and I last year knew that you were on the cutting edge because we bumped you through a process. We were creating PowerHouse on the fly, and it took a good month once we thought you could log in to actually be able to log in. So thank you for staying with us. Right now, the process is streamlined as best as we can, and it still takes a little bit, and parents will need encouragement. What I have on the screen right now is the kind of PowerHouse how-to form. So the big picture of participating in PowerHouse is that parents have to have a CMP account. So parents have to be able to go online. So, and the big idea for parents, I think, to bring across to them is this is a chance for your child to bring real data from their own home into the classroom. With respect to privacy and security, you as a teacher at this point and GMRI as the administrator of the program will be able to see a student's home data, but nobody else will be able to. The purpose of you being able to see it is potentially for assessment. We're still deciding whether or not that makes sense. We'll see. And same for GMRI. We do not hold any data. That's also important for parents to know. So we only pass through. So if students are signed up, they can see their own data. But bam, and that's engagement, pure engagement in math and science in schools. So again, parents have to want their child to be able to see this stuff, and they have good reason to. The question came up, what if you're renting? Bottom line, if you don't have an electricity bill, you can't participate in seeing your own data. You can see the Mystery House data. We specifically have the Mystery House for that. Many of you last year used the Mystery House account as a way of everybody seeing the same data set to kind of introduce students. Not a bad thing. Again, we're pushing really hard to get students to see their own data. We think the engagement's there. That's our hypothesis. So, okay, or people, if they don't have a smart meter because they opted out, obviously can't participate. And there's some people that want to do PowerHouse that don't have smart meters. That's very weird. Not sure how that works. Okay, so the thing here under other situations, if you can read that, you will have some families that either have no or poor internet access. And there have been a couple ideas here for helping those families out. One are open houses, which Libby, darn it, we should have had this yesterday. So open houses are a great time to connect families. So yeah, and family energy nights. And I'd love to have a brief, Kara, are you doing a family energy night? Did I read that correctly?
I'm hoping to. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm hoping to do an energy night. We have to wait for devices to come through because we have quite a bit of our community that don't necessarily have home internet access. So I'm hoping for once our iPads come through that I'll have my homeroom families come in, understand what PowerHouse is, kind of do kind of the same thing, show them what kind of information we can get from it and how useful Energy Manager can be, and then hopefully with that riveting information that they will be wanting to sign up, and then hopefully be able to get them signed up and do a lot of the troubleshooting so that we don't have to do a lot of emailing back and forth, which I ended up doing a lot of last year. So hopefully
nice.
With devices available, me available, and everything else, that we'll be able to do that.
Any logistics you can think of that would be helpful for the group in terms of pulling off a home energy night?
I'm not sure yet. I'm still trying to figure this out. Probably with us, we're going to be doing a lot of communication with weekend previews going home. So hopefully if I start talking it up soon enough that we will be able to get everybody in and signed on. And it might be a few of them through the first couple of months of school because I probably don't anticipate we'll have devices much before the end of September. And we have kind of a crazy schedule. So probably in September and October with the intent that, or October and November, that we'll get people signed up during that time.
Nice.
Question from Peter here, if I may.
Yep.
The energy night, will that be modeled on the energy night that Lynn and MMSA put together a couple years ago?
It could be. I don't know anything about that.
Well, great. Well, you guys are jumping quick ahead to something further, just the next spot on our agenda, and Tom's sharing his screen right now, or I'll have to show you the picture in a second. But we do have 6 kits. 3 are at MMSA in Augusta, and 3 are here to help you with the family energy night. They're for you to use for free. They're just using up square footage in both of our buildings. So Lynn and I want to get them out into school so you can set up some stations to engage families in thinking about electricity at home and how they use it and how they could use it more efficiently, which may be a good intro into PowerHouse. But I'm just going to, more on that in just a smidgen.
And so Family Energy Night, again, kits available. Email either Gail in Portland here or Lynn Farron up in Augusta if you're interested in some kind of goods to help you out with that. Okay, so back to connecting. Family Energy Nights, if there's no internet, brilliant. Open house, brilliant idea from last spring. Number one, parents or you, if you're connecting for the first time, Jenny, Ruth, will need a CMP account. And I can't click on that here, but I would show you what that looks like. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll still show you.
Go for it.
Why not? Let's see if we're in. Okay. So at CMP, anyone who wants a PowerHouse account has to be linked first through CMP to connect with PowerHouse. The big idea is that you got to do some stuff at CMP and then come back to the PowerHouse website, and the parent, the owner of the account, has to put in their information that links to CMP. That's the big idea. If you knew what you were doing, you could do it over the course of 2 days and maybe 10 minutes total. Hopefully the sheet will help out. Now, let me see here. Let's see if I can remember this. Oh dear. No. So what I'm trying to do now is to remember my login to CMP. My computer just died.
Yeah, pass it back to me. I'm in.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah.
Wah. Anyways.
Watch it, Tom. They'll kick you out if you put in too many passwords.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Careful.
They'll lock you
try
out.
it
Watch
again.
it.
Okay.
Don't try it again tonight.
All right. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop that. All right. So we're going to go through the Trust Me school of it works. When you log into CMP, one of the boxes you see is Enroll in Energy Manager. So this form hopefully will help students or parents to see this button and to click on it. There is a wait period. So once you've logged in with an eCMP account, it's called, you have to wait about a day and then log back in. I think that's the biggest hurdle for parents. That and students actually getting the permission slips home and the instructions home to parents, so which is why the first day of school is so important. Just like last year, so under step 2, we have if you don't see Enroll in Energy Manager, it is very possible that you as a teacher or your students, when their parents go on and try to log in, they can log into CMP, but they're not going to get this Enroll in Energy Manager thing. A year ago, CMP told us they had 99% of their meters running. It turns out that was optimistic. And realistically, it's one of the biggest deployments of smart meters. It sounds kind of funny to say, but in the world, which
At the time it was.
At the time it was the biggest.
They were quickly surpassed by, I think, Toronto or California.
It's part of PG&E in California.
Yeah.
But the point is they were on the bleeding edge, and good for them. But they're also working through some technical issues. So some people won't see it. If parents are willing to give their last name and address, and you forward that to us, we have a main line into CMP, and we'll get them set up. Bam.
But one really kind of super exciting news on that front is just this week on Monday, I was driving into work right about Falmouth, and I hear this sweet little CMP customer service agent come on the radio for an ad, and she had an ad about Energy Manager, and it was so exciting because they have not actively promoted this tool yet to the world, and now they are, and we've heard that there's TV commercials too. So obviously CMP is super invested right now in making sure that people have access because they are out there. The word is out. They've released it. I know. That'll be good on our end.
Okay. So CMP is incredibly on board with this, which actually is kind of surprising. It turns out they have a lot to gain by doing good in the community. Also, their CEO Sarah Burns happens to sit on our board at GMRI. So it's a little bit of a love fest. It's a little crazy. and quite fun. So again, parents have to log into the CMP. They need to enroll in Energy Manager. They need to come back. And when they come back, their Enroll in Energy Manager button will turn into Access Energy Manager. When they do that, they'll be able to see very similar stuff to what you see in PowerHouse, with the exception that we do have a few bonuses that you cannot get on the CMP site. And the other obviously big difference with PowerHouse is that students can see their own data, which typically wouldn't happen at home. So step 4 and 5, I mean, there's just a few little things, but it's things you have to do. And the real tricking point, or the sticking point, is that when parents, they're going to enter their email address a couple times on the PowerHouse website.
Can you show where they enter that?
Yeah, I'll go there in a second.
Okay.
They have to check their email and click a link in their email in order to become connected. That was the sticking point last year. So if anybody figures out how to help parents figure that out, a couple groups created, student public service announcements, PSAs. They created videos and sent those out or made links to them. That was brilliant. So, and we're asking the parents, and to the degree that you can do this, this will help us with our metrics and statistics. To the degree parents can take this as a form, fill it out, get themselves hooked up, and then send this back to you, and you report back to us. We'll have Survey Monkeys or something. Let us know who was able to connect, who wasn't. That would be really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So far, so good? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Thumbs up.
All right. So then just very quickly, and I don't want to dwell on this, but creating an account. So the very first thing that you can do as a teacher, so you hand permission slips out, you hand out the instruction forms to go home. You can create accounts with your students at the same time, even before those things go home. So you do not need parental permission, and this is directly from our lawyers at Drummond Woodsum, for students to be able to just see, the mystery data, because none of it's their own. So very first thing, when you're ready, you can create accounts with students. Again, it's really helpful. Number one, get parents signed up as soon as possible, so you have more of your students able to see their own data and they start collecting data. Okay, so creating an account. For the few of you that don't have accounts yet, you'll want to sign on as a teacher. You can create any name that you want. I just chose something kind of randomly there. Put in any password you want. So that'll be teacher 1. Wow. Okay. This is a good chance to talk about internet use. If you were to click student, by the way, there's a few things that would look different, such as what schools you have, what are my school's computer use policies. It's a chance to, to talk about that refresh. As a teacher, presumably, you're grown up and know all that kind of stuff. Okay, we need your address. Oh, I don't know. Bangor, I guess it'd be Bangor Hydro, isn't it? Oh well. We'll make pretend. Every school in the country is here, or the country.
If you don't see your school, just let us know. We can get it up there within 5 minutes.
That's right.
That happened earlier this week.
Like a Catholic.
Well, my school's not there. Sorry.
What?
I moved schools.
Oh no. What's your school?
Breakwater.
Oh, Jed, we didn't know you were here.
Are you on?
I just came on. I snuck in about 10 minutes ago. 8 minutes ago.
That was too sneaky for us.
Hey, you're
sorry.
Yourself.
And you're not on the.
All right, Jed, I'll get Breakwater added for you tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. I'm just going to make up a name here. Let me see. How's that? Let's see. Okay, grades I teach. I don't know. I am K-12. I do it all. I'll teach science and math. Okay, so the process should be fairly straightforward for both you and your students. It's much simpler. Your students don't have to do nearly as much. Once you create a login, and Ginny, Ruth, Libby, I don't know, do you have an account, Libby?
I think I have an account.
Yep, Libby does.
Okay.
Yep.
So Ginny and Ruth, you might want to create an account right now.
I think they both, yeah, you guys both do.
Or Ginny and Ruth?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
These guys are on it.
Right on. Okay, so whenever your students create accounts, so when a teacher creates an account, it comes to us, to Gail and I.
Yeah, Ruth, you still need an account.
So we'll get an email and we'll sign you up right away. When your students create accounts, those no email is sent to anybody, but they have to associate. Let me back up for a second, make pretend I'm a student here. They have to associate with, say, you, if I was in South Portland, which, I don't know, maybe someone here is in South Portland.
Go to Memorial.
You're not, are you at Memorial?
Yeah, I'm at Memorial, and then you can do me if you want to.
No way. Hey, there's Kara Sparrow. Okay.
There you go.
So how about that? So you will find, I'm going to sign in as teacher, which happens to be a secret sneaky account that we've already created. So make pretend I was Kara Sparrow and I just logged in. I'm going to be able to see all of the people that either want to be my students, and that's under a tab called Pending, and currently there are no students waiting to join my classes. Or I will have current students, which, Josh B., how do you get in there? What we did, unless you were looping last year, we delete, one of the things we say in our current policy is that we're going to delete all student accounts at the end of the school year. And that's a legal thing. It also gives parents peace of mind. We are, I should say, hoping, but this is not official yet.
Really hoping
To make all accounts what we're calling individual accounts. For those of you who have done vital signs with GMRI, they'd be the equivalent of citizen science accounts, except we aren't tying to scientists, so they're technically individual accounts. So those individual accounts would link to you, but after the school year ends, you could break your ties with your students from the last year, and those students can continue doing PowerHouse, which would be great. So as a teacher, again, you have students who want to join your class, and you have to accept them so you don't get rogue students. And you have your full student list. In there, you have, it looks like you set up math period 1 and 2, Kara. You
Yes,
can
I
set
did.
up, for anybody else who hasn't done this yet, you can create new classes. I'm going to give you a period 3 class. Boy, you're in trouble now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Science
not gonna do
said
that.
though.
Oh, forget it. I'm not going to add it for you then. Just kidding. Okay, so you can you can set up classes any way you want. You can say spring and fall. You can say 2012, 2013. You can say period 1, period 2, period 3, period 4, period 5. Whatever you want. So this is an opportunity for you to manage the students that you're working with. So, and as a very quick overview to the website, this button at the top, which is now beautiful orange if you ask me, this will take you to your dashboard. Clicking on the PowerHouse logo will always take you to the home page. So home page and dashboard. From the dashboard, this is where your students or you can do anything you want. If I log in as teacher, I see one set of things, including, again, the download to the permission form, how to connect, privacy policy. If parents want that, I would hold off. You can change your data settings here, and this will be true for everybody. And one of the biggest choices that you'll have, for those of you who are new, you can either choose to make the mystery data GMRI's mystery house, whoever that is, or you could choose, if I was signed on as Kara, I could say, I want to show my own home data, and that's what students who log in and don't have their own account will see. Some teachers found that very useful last year. I don't know if there's anyone here. Did anyone who signed on make their own home the mystery account?
No.
Yeah, I did.
Is that
Kelly did.
Is that you, Kelly?
Yep.
How'd that go? How'd that go? Did you tell your students who the mystery house was?
Yeah, I ended up telling them because Oh, the first time I did something like this, it was with MMSA. It's the power meter thing, and I kept it all secret, and I was Ms. Watts and all that. But this time around, I decided to tell them, and then they were asking questions, and I told them I wasn't going to answer anything personal, but then they could kind of feel free to ask, well, have you considered doing this to save energy? And we got into some good conversations, and then they, you know, it worked out well. I had a really nice group of kids, and I didn't feel uncomfortable sharing.
Nice. Any other stories? I don't know if anyone else has done that. Jed, did you end up sharing your own house?
Yeah, I shared it with my kids, but I didn't. It wasn't the mystery data. The kids who didn't get to sign up used Gail's house.
Gotcha.
As their
Oh,
data.
the mystery house.
Sorry, the mystery house.
Just to say it was Gail's house.
Well, mystery solved. My smart meter's broken, so not the mystery house anymore.
Oh, bummer. Yeah,
so much for living in the country.
We did a lot of stuff with my data, so they knew, they knew it was mine.
Yeah. So again, the goal is for students to focus on their own data. I did mislead you a little bit. These two different data settings. One is only available to you. Students won't see this part. This is where you say, no, don't show my home data as mystery. This is yes, show my home data as mystery. So when students choose, so everybody can see the choose your data source section. And that's where you say, show me the mystery data, or if you're connected, show me my own home's data. And I think we're still working through curriculum and kind of the how-tos of how to use this utility of PowerHouse best. So, okay, and there's a few other things unlinking from CMP. I am going to turn this ship over to Gail again. Again, the big idea of the next month is getting as many people signed on as possible to their own home data. And if possible, to get as much as you can home to your students as soon as possible at the beginning of the school year and get them connected. And we'll, in the next month's meeting, we'll start talking about, what and how to work with the data. So Gail, you have something you wanted to
Ruth had a question about what happens if parents change their email once they've connected their accounts. And did you show where to add that connect my account link?
That's a very good question. Let me see if I can remember where it is. In the permission form, I believe.
No.
But not the permission form.
No, on the My PowerHouse. You can pass it to me and I can show.
On My PowerHouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you first log in, if you haven't connected your data at all, go back a little bit. Oh, awesome. Okay,
so
I'm really going to show you how to do it.
Yep.
Go for it.
You're going to see a blue box that says connect my home electricity data to PowerHouse. So that's what parents will see. And I think there's also a direct link on the how-to form. And you'll be given put in your email twice, and this is your CMP email. So this is the thing that, let me see, I'll put in my email address here. Okay. Once you hit submit, yeehaw, we're done. No, you're not. You have to go to your email. And that's correct. And ideally, in the blink of an eye, an email will be sent from PowerHouse to you. I'm going to sit here and talk away for a minute here. I'll come back to it. That has a link in it. Until parents click that link, until you click that link, you have not connected your home's data to PowerHouse. So there it is, PowerHouse team. I'm clicking on it, and it says one more step. Click below, and I'll do that, and boom! Oh, almost. Accept the privacy policy. Yup, I'm a consenting adult, and I link. Life is good. And bam! I can see my own home's electricity data. Whoops. All right, I guess you
change your data settings.
What?
Look at my home.
This is great, you guys.
Because there's
one problem.
Yeah, and then I know that's funny how it works that way. Can you look at yours and the dashboard? Because there's been some questions about how to get your home switched on there.
All right. Okay. Oh, my goal. I have to set a goal.
Set a goal.
So students will want to do something really big. Good luck with that. It's time to learn what reality is. Sorry, you're in 8th grade now.
Oh, that's funny.
How sweet.
I already have info. Anyways, I already have info. But
I do.
normally once they first connect, they'll see a SketchUp of a house and have prompts to add in or to answer those questions like who lives here and all that. So there's lots of prompts to enter in their information to personalize that page.
But again, right now this is a private profile. So nobody else will see it except for them. And one of these days we're going to have public profiles. That'll be really crazy, but we're not there yet. Okay, any questions? We're approaching 7:30 very quickly here. It's about 1 minute away.
And I have about 10 minutes.
You have about 10 minutes of stuff?
I have about 10 minutes. I do.
All right. If you can hang on with us, Oh,
and Ruth, to answer your question, once they've connected, say if a parent switched jobs or changed their emails or closed out a Yahoo account, whatever they had created their CMP account with, in that button where it says, oh, not yet, don't do that yet, Tom. Are you still sharing?
Yeah.
Okay, go to change my data settings. And you can, at the very bottom, you can update the email address that you will find your home electricity use at. So if they change their emails that's associated with their CMP, there's a way to update it right there.
Great. So again, any questions from you all about the goals or how to? I'm going to switch over to Gail.
Great, thanks. I think you're seeing my screen already. Jenny, I was just about to answer your question. Just to high level super summarize the process. Create a teacher account, have students create student accounts, send home permission forms, send home the Connect data. Parents are going to go online and create an Energy Manager account. That process can take 24-ish hours. Once that's all done, they can log in with their students to PowerHouse, enter in their email there, click submit, go to that email, click the link that expires within 48 hours, go back into PowerHouse, click the I accept this privacy policy, and voila, you're connected.
That was easy. Yeah, that's going to get easier, but for now, the streamlines is good. Yeah, so.
And I am totally happy to elaborate that on any time. If you want to give me a call or an email, I can walk you through it one-on-one anytime. And Kara, I don't think we're doing magnets again this year. I don't know if we have the budget for it, but if they're helpful and you can, okay, well, Tom's holding the budget right now, so.
Yeah. You want magnets? Say I want magnets. You got them.
We got to order some more, but we can do magnets if they're super helpful. We'd love to hear those stories because that helps us to write things into our budget if we know that it's a useful thing. All right, cool. So, which reminds me of my last little tidbit. I think we're going to talk about connecting through to families and to parents. And Tom's already covered a lot of that through thinking about open houses, and that's a great chance, and you guys have already mentioned too, it's a great place to connect to parents and send home that data in the process. And we do have kits.
Call for another junction, okay?
I just loaded these kits into our dry storage in the basement, not basement, first floor this afternoon. So Lynn has 3 of these kits too, and these were developed by the Math and Science Alliance, I think through the Power Sleuth, or at least related to the Power Sleuth program. And they had a program called Family Energy Nights. Well, not a program that they offered, but a curriculum set that they offered. So they won't come and do it for you, but they'll give you the tools to do it yourself. I even think they have a full-size adult costume where you can dress up as Addison Fox, that fancy little fox that you see there. So if you want that mascot to strut around your gymnasium, I think Lynn Farron at MMSA can hook you up. But in these kits, there's all sorts of stuff like light bulbs and lamps. And if you go on to there, and I'll show you where that link is in just a second, their website, you can peruse the curriculum or the the guide for the stations to set up, and the contents list. So we just have these hanging out. They're free for you guys to use. Come and borrow them. We'd love to not have them here, and we'd love them to be shuffling around schools. So as I mentioned, there's 3 here and 3 in Augusta. Okay, great. I love to hear that you want that. Lynn's been really sad that she's been hanging on to these for a while. Oh, there's a little bit more of what's inside. We have 6 kits.
Okay. And we can just send them out for a little while?
As long as you need them.
Okay.
They're going to waste on our shelves, so put them to use. And if you would want to use them for something other than a family energy night, I think that's fine too. If you wanted to use them in your classroom, I think that would be fine too. I'd double check with Lynn first, though.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Okay, so one more thing to show you guys tonight. Last year we used a program called Edmodo, which some of you may be familiar with, to share as a group resources that we were finding or questions that we had. Lynn and I made a decision to switch to a new program called Ning, N-I-N-G, and it's just a social sharing website. You come back to here, so you can find the link to it. Oh, bummer, got logged out. Underneath teacher support, where it says join online PowerHouse teacher community. So if you click that, it's going to take you through to our PowerHouse Ning website. And it's a place where we'll keep blogs and forums, and a great spot for you to post resources that you find that are really useful. Or if you have questions for the community, or you want to offer a successful story or a wall that you came across and want some help from, this is a great place to post this too. So as a member, you can post questions or stories. So I'm going to encourage all of you, or ask all of you right now, to go to this website called powerhouse.ning.com. I'm going to put the link right in here. And just set up an account, a teacher account. Well, I guess they're all accounts because it's for teachers. So
what.com?
Powerhouse.ning.com.
And again, this is purely teacher resource. So this is nothing students or your families will get into.
No, this is just for us, for sharing ideas and growing the program. The reason why we're using Ning right now is that we don't have the functionality built into the PowerHouse website yet to have a give and take community, because we don't want to be the ones that are just pushing information out to you. We really want the ability for us all to learn from each other, so we thought that this might be a great way. So I suggest when you set up your account, just for sake of remembering, use the same username and password that you have with PowerHouse, or when you set up your PowerHouse account, maybe use the same username and password there. Cool. So once you guys are on to a Ning account, a few things that you can do here. If you click on Share Resources, which is part of the navigation bar right underneath the PowerHouse logo, you can see that Lynn has posted a discussion about family energy nights in PowerHouse. And there's some great links there. This might also be a great place for you guys to collaborate as to who has the kits and where they are once they leave here. We hope that you guys are part of our distribution team. We don't have any funding to ship them anywhere, so we're our own FedEx for those kits.
We'll drive them to your school. Yeah, we'll drive them to your school.
I commute from Richmond to Portland daily, if you follow my route. No, and we could use the buses at Lab Venture. There's lots of creative ways we can get them to each other, so we're totally willing to play with that. And hey, if you're doing PowerHouse work in your classroom, we want to see that anyways. We'd happily bring you a kit while we're coming to observe that or to help you guys set up student accounts. All of that would go well together. Also, once you're into the Ning account, I'm curious, is anybody signing up for one right now? Oh, yay, Cindy and Ruth did. Thank you. You could log into community support. And there's another discussion, just a question that I've asked about your PowerHouse plans. Now, you guys have been listening to us for too long. And I'm curious if you've had any ideas that have come to mind as to how you might want to implement PowerHouse with your students this year. You may have those ideas ready to share right now, or you might want to share them after you've gotten to think about things over the beautiful long weekend. But we'd love to know what your plans are so we can help best support them. So here's just some replies. We did the same webinar on Tuesday, so from some of the folks that joined us then. Cool. Anything else on your list?
You know, just getting students signed up. No, in all seriousness, I mean, again, that's the focus, and we're available. It feels like 24 hours a day. We're literally here every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and available by email all the time. Please do ask us lots of questions and help us out. And remember, this is prototyping. There's lots of ideas from last year, and there'll be new ideas from this round that will make PowerHouse powerful, and we can't wait. It's getting better by the day.
And Tom just reminded me too, just to reiterate, we are here for support, and we are planning on offering webinars throughout the year. We're not going to offer them on a set schedule, more as kind of on an as-needed basis. So, for example, if there were a couple of teachers that were asking us questions about math through email or something at the same time, then, oh, hey, maybe that's useful to other folks, and we'll offer a webinar, maybe have some of you host a webinar around connecting PowerHouse with math standards and curriculum. Or maybe we launch a new feature on the PowerHouse website. We might host a quick webinar just to give you a tour of that and brainstorm with you curriculum ideas or resources to help make that tool really work well for you in your classroom. So those are just some examples, and as I mentioned, those will happen on an as-needed basis. And we're going to be using the PowerHouse Ning website to be sharing with you all of those opportunities, and I have all your emails too. So if you hear too much from me, just let me know. I can contact you. I'm going to contact you both ways, but feel free to let me know if you prefer one over the other. Also, we're going to host at least 4 meetups, probably on a quarterly schedule throughout the year, which would just be in-face, a couple of hours after the school day with some delicious food and good company for us to talk about PowerHouse around topics. Again, we're going to follow your lead on this. What are some of the big questions that you have, and how can we best work together as a community of teachers doing PowerHouse to make this a really rich resource that works well for you in your classroom? So those are kind of the more, I wouldn't formalish types of support we'll offer other than 24/7 email.
Right. All right, so it's getting late. Any final thoughts from anyone?
Just a thank you to you, Tom and Gail, for your work this evening.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, anytime. Okay, great. We're glad that you guys are excited, and we're excited to see where you go next with it. So please keep us in the loop with your plans, and as Tom mentioned, how you are doing PowerHouse this year is going to help us to make it a better program for you next year and for new teachers that join too. Also, this isn't like the only chance to get hooked up with PowerHouse. People can join any point in time throughout the year, so if you're talking with somebody who wants to do it, then just send them my way. Oh, awesome. Thanks for spreading the word.
Yeah, this is great. And just a reminder that there are many eyes on this program, including from Department of Energy in Washington. This is apparently nobody has thought to connect all these brilliant, wonderful, important energy issues with kids yet. So you're part of something that's bigger than you might realize. So thank you for participating as well.
Yeah. All right, so best of luck to those of you who haven't launched your first day with students yet, and go day 3 if you're going to see them tomorrow. Third day of school tomorrow for some people. Day 3. For my kindergartners, day 3.
Well, good luck on Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay. All right, thanks, guys. Happy long weekend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Thank you, too.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you.